Hi, this is David Clive from Deed Ventures. The first 3 minutes of this video will provide an aerial overview of the property, which will be followed by a detailed property review, ending with a purchase walkthrough. I hope you enjoy. The property is approximately 6 minutes west of Elfrida. It is about 35 minutes north of Douglas on the 191. From Wilcox, the property is about 50 minutes to the south. From Sierra Vista, the property is about an hour to the east, and on the way you get to pass through Tombstone, the famed town of Wyatt Earp. From downtown Tucson, the property is about an hour and 45 minutes to the east. This 81 plus acres is located in southeastern Arizona. You can see Phoenix and Tucson there. Tucson is about an hour and 45 minutes away, and here is the property. It is a unique shape. It's actually two parcels. There's a southern parcel that's here that is mostly square except for the northeastern corner, which is cut out by the neighbor. And there is another parcel located right here, and that parcel has road frontage on Gleason Road, which is like a highway that connects Elfrida to Tombstone and Sierra Vista. So as you can see, the latitude and longitude coordinates here. You can also see the elevation down in the lower right hand of the screen. And so it's about 4,000 feet in elevation. Let me pull up some parcel data. So this is the parcel number 112-63-002 for the larger parcel. And I'm selling both together because this gives you road access to Gleason Road by having both parcels. So anyway, it is a residential zoning, rural residential. Here's the other parcel that is going along with the sale. And as you can see, it's the same zoning. This one is somewhere between 3¼ and 3½ acres, and this parcel is somewhere between 78½ and 78¾ acres. So let me turn this off because it's kind of distracting with all of the pop-ups. And here you get a feel for just the outline of the parcel itself. A few things to note are, one, there is a lot of agricultural activity going on nearby, as you can see if I zoom out a little bit here. And one of the reasons for that is the water table is very high in this area. And you'll see later on that the wells here are pretty shallow before they hit water. If I zoom in over here to the neighbor's property, you can see there are power lines out here along the street, and they connect to the neighbor's property. And then down here at the corner, there are a few posts here, and as you can see by the shadow, it's clearly a power post. It's got one of those power boxes on the post. So I'm not sure if you could hook up into that, or if you'd have to pull a line from up here down into the property. But either way, there is power nearby to the property. The water is pretty shallow in the ground, so easy to get to. And you have road frontage on Gleason Road right here. It's a 2-lane road, paved, and as you can see, there's a dirt turnoff. That was a driveway. So a long time ago, this whole piece here was like one parcel, and this chunk was bought off, and it's, from what I understand, not supposed to include this house, but I haven't had it surveyed, so the house may actually be on the parcel. It may be encroaching, but the house belongs to the owner of the other parcel, the adjoining parcel. So it's not really a house anymore. If you look at the photos of the property on my website, I'll show what's left of the structure. There's some garbage in it, and there's a little bit of garbage up here in this northern parcel. It's mostly like some bottles and stuff like that, and I tried to take some pictures of it, but it doesn't show up in the pictures very well because there's a lot of plant life and stuff that's kind of growing over it. So if we zoom out from the property, you can see it's on Gleason Road, which basically is it's halfway between the town of Gleason and Elfrida. The town of Gleason is a ghost town, and there is some interesting stuff to see there. You keep on going, the road kind of goes up here and it goes down this ridge into Tombstone, Arizona. There's a lot of historical stuff in Tombstone, museums, and lots of Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, cowboy type stuff. Taking another look at the property, let's get a feel for the lay of the land here. And I'm gonna crank it down so you can kind of see the topography. And as you can see from here, it's pretty flat. One of the great things about this location is that not only is the parcel flat, but there is the slightest slope. You can kind of see it. I mean, there's an optical illusion from Gleason Road there at an angle, but there's a slight slope kind of going down to the right, and it's not noticeable on the property if you're physically there, but it does exist. And the reason why that's great is because if you are, and again, there's kind of an optical illusion because Gleason Road curves here, so it makes it look like it's steep, but it's not. But the elevation does, if you look at the elevation in the lower right-hand corner, it does drop just ever so slightly as I move out. And what that does is it gives you nice flat land that drains well, so you don't have to worry about flood zones, which are a major problem in this area. So you don't have to worry about flood zones because you're above the flood zones, and you get good drainage, and you also get great views of Elfrida off in the distance without having a property that's hilly. So you don't have to worry about wasted space. You can use all of the space on the property, and you still have great views because of this nice gentle slope and the flatness of the terrain that is to the east of you. So from here you get great views of the mountains and of Elfrida, and there's no vegetation on these lots that are to the east of you, so it's just clear views, which is a great attribute for this property. If I keep going around, you can see there's a lot of agricultural activity going on, again, largely because of the accessibility of water and the weather that this area has. So it's a great location, and you're kind of in between Elfrida and Tombstone, and it's easy to get around to other areas in southeastern Arizona from this location. As I was talking about flooding, you can see here from this map the properties right here. I'll turn it on. And you don't have to go very far before you see these ravines and a change in the color of the dirt. And that change in the color of the dirt indicates that there's likely to be a lot of flooding. And if I change my map to show flood zones and zoom in here, you can see that there are a lot of flood zones around. As I mentioned, the water table sits very high here, and so if you're a little bit lower than this property, you're going to have problems. If you're right where this property sits, you're in the perfect spot where you have great accessibility to water and you don't have to worry about flood zones. Another good thing about being near these flood zone areas is that they tend to attract seasonally lots of wildlife and birds. So if you're into birding, this whole area is a mecca. Basically, if I zoom out, this whole dry wash here, this riverbed, is a huge birding area. Also, a little farther north, up near Wilcox, this area here is huge with birders as well. And when these areas flood, they bring massive flocks of birds in. So you get to be close to that, you get to enjoy the benefits of that without having to deal with the headache of being in a flood zone. So I think this property is in a great location. Earlier in this video, I mentioned the depth of water and nearby wells at the property. And to find that out, I'll have a link on the property page where you can go to Arizona's Well Registry. And the link will take you to this page here where you'll see a map of the state of Arizona. And you can simply zoom in to the location of the property itself. So if we zoom in here, it's in southeastern Arizona. You can see Tombstone, and we know it's near Tombstone. The red dots do make it a little hard to see, but here's Elfrida. And the property is right where the road, right after Gleason Road bends and turns slightly northwest. And so this is the neighboring property that has the crop circle on it, as you can see. And if we just look at one of the wells here, for example, you click on well details, that will take you to more information about the well. And if you look at the construction tab, you'll see the water level. When they dug the well, they hit water at 82 feet. That's extremely shallow. $90. If we go farther uphill, this one hit water at 82 feet. $67 feet. This well hit water at 48 feet. Also from this map, you can see they have some elevation lines here, and you can see the property does have that nice ever so slight slope, just enough for drainage so you don't end up with big puddles, ponds, or flood zones. This is Google's travel guide for Cochise County, Arizona. As you can see, there are lots of activities on the map that are plotted out, and there is a lot to see and do. Tombstone, which is down here, Boot Hill, lots of old Wild West cowboy type activities. There is a lot of outdoor exploration that can be done. One of the cooler things in the area is the Kartchner State Caverns, and they're extremely impressive. Relatively close to the property is the Chiricahua National Monument, and this is an interesting area because it has many rock formations that stick up like chimneys or smokestacks, and the natural erosion has just caused these rocks to stay in these positions. So it's a great place to go do outdoor exploring, hit up on the weekends, or if you're in Tucson, you can hit these sites on the way to the property. There's a lot to see and do in Tucson as well. Tucson is approximately 2 hours away from the property. One of the highlights of Tucson is the collection of museums that the city has. There is the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum. It has the Pima Air and Space Museum, which is highly ranked with lots of aircraft and spacecraft on display. Has a zoo. You can go to the Saguaro National Park. Saguaros are the cacti that look like the Taco Bell logo, or the old Taco Bell logo. There are lots of activities and things from the University of Arizona in Tucson and around Tucson. This is the climate for Tucson, which is fairly similar to the climate near the property. As you can see, the area is fairly dry with low chance of precipitation during most periods except for July and August, where there are monsoons that come through. And the temperatures stay fairly warm, with the winter being a balmy 64 for the high in December and January and a low of 41. In the summers it does get a bit hot. It gets the average temperature here for the highs shows 98 for June and July and 96 for August. I will note that these are averages, and temperatures can get a lot hotter and colder than these averages, but this should give you a good idea of the general climate. To purchase this property or to hold the property, all you have to do is scroll down to the section of the property page labeled Purchase Options, and there you will see the different prices and options available for purchasing the property. In this case, you have the cash price and several financing options that are available. If you want to purchase the property using any of these options, you can follow these instructions down below. The first step is to copy the checkout code. If I wanted to purchase it with the cash price, I would copy the checkout code. I would click the Buy Now Deposit, and that would take me to this page here with Rerun, which is our payment gateway partner. And here you would sign up for a new account, and you would place first name here, last name here, email address, and create a password, and then click sign up. Then you'll be asked for your billing details, and you'll also see down here at the bottom the property checkout code. This is where you'll want to paste in that checkout code that we copied before and fill in your various billing details. You'll go through the process completing your user information, you'll be taken to an order summary page that will show you the purchase that you have selected, which is just a deposit, and then you'll select a payment method. We accept credit card, debit card, or ACH transfer online. Also, you can reach out to us at sales@deedventures.com and arrange for payment via check, cashier's check, or money order, or wire. Finally, you'll be taken to the end, and we'll reach out to you to ensure we have the proper information to document the transaction, and we will coordinate with you to get all the documents completed and signed. As you can see here, below the Buy Now button, we outlay the purchase process. You simply copy the checkout code of the purchase option you want. Once you complete the checkout process, the non-refundable deposit will hold the property, and it will also count toward the purchase price or the down payment amount of the property purchase. We will then send a simple agreement for you to sign, which will put the property under contract. The remaining balance can be paid by wire transfer, ACH, credit card, debit card, or cashier's check. Once all the payments are received, the deed and the necessary transfer documentation will be completed and filed with the county and mailed to the address that you provide us. In this instance, we will also pay for a title insurance policy, which will be issued to you as the new owner. If you have any questions about the purchase process, the deposit, or the documentation process, feel free to reach us by email or by phone. Our contact info is listed at the bottom of each page.